I should cut down the tree if I get a huge donation, but why would anyone want to do that? That's going to turn people away from donating. People love the tree. Alright, let's get this underway then, guys, as we have Dark and Cure here in this elimination match. Dark dropped down here due to Zest. Cure dropped down here due to Raynor. So let's see what happens as we, like I say again, to an elimination match. See who will come out on top. And see who will get through to the decider match. The winner of this plays Raynor. So the winner of this will play Raynor in that decider match. That is now known. Zest is out of this group in first place. So get into map number 1. So here in the bottom right, Berlingrad, our starting map, seems to be a popular one for TVZ in general. Just for Terrans in general, they seem to be really liking this map. It is a shorter rush distance while having a good amount of bases and a lot of good positions you can take on this map, and setups on the bases of your opponent, I think, is one of the big reasons it's turning out to be so popular. I was going to see our CC coming down here initially. Is just going to be a Reaper expansion. We'll see what Dark wants to do when it comes to his catch, gas, and pull. And see what exactly he'll set up for right now as we get this going. CC onto the natural expansion, just getting that underway. A few links popping out and factoring a second gas. That's the real kind of point of intrigue here. Second gas means that we can go into a starport very quickly, and we're going to really keep the ante up in the early games. So getting that early game aggression underway, that's going to be the initial plan. There's the few links coming around, Reaper backing away from those few Zerglings. Just going to be seeing a few drones popping out here as well as the reactor coming down. Factory is about to finish. If it does take a turn over to the side, just double checking the third hatchery is there as well, of course. And we'll see what Dark wants to do. Dark's been integrating a lot more Ling Bane openings rather than, well, you know, for a while there was a lot of just kind of hatchery, a lot of Roach focused openings from Dark, and now he does seem to be enjoying a little bit more of the Ling Bane stuff. Now, he doesn't necessarily completely steer away from the Roaches, but he does mix in the Ling Bane openings a lot more than what he used to, I would say. That's been very intriguing to watch and to kind of keep track of in general, so something for us to maybe keep in mind as the series plays out. There's a couple of queens are going to move forward and take to the front. You're going to see a little bit of creep spread moving out to the sides. Queen's coming through, just going to be seeing our Roach Roaring setting up. I'm just going to be seeing our Armory coming down. So Kyo's going to straight up just go for some Hellbats. I do find that kind of weird. In the end, we do end up on Roaches then as well. I mean, I feel like Hellbats against Dark is always such a question mark, because it's like a 50-50 roll of the dice if he's going to be having a Roach Roaring anyway or not, just as part of his build. Just going to see a few Queens moving off over to the side, and well, let's see how we do here. As the Hellions join up, here come the Marines. Let's see what Cure can do. Initially is just going to go in after this Overlord, and that Overlord going to take a good bit of damage. Overlord falls, and just going to be seeing a couple of Lings moving around. Hellions morphing into Hellbats here. Just going to be seeing the Hellbats coming forward. So again, Hellbats coming through, and just going to be seeing a couple of Roaches, Lings moving around as well. I mean, obviously with the Roaches coming through, you expect this just to be kind of handled. We're going to kill a couple Queens at least, which is something. Banshee on the way to make sure the Roaches can't just counterattack the victory. And to be fair, Cure's coming out with this only a couple of workers behind. So, only a couple of workers behind. Obviously now Dark kind of just holds down the drone button, however, right? He can just hold down the drone key and just drone. There should be no stopping him for the next little while at least. And that's kind of the bigger issue here, is that Command Center sets up as part of the wall-off as well. Yeah, that's probably the kind of the bigger picture issue. Just the fact that Dark from here on out should have a lot more drones, and then you kind of question whether the Hellbat's really worth it. Did it, was that early armory kind of worthwhile? Kira's going to get engineering base going, so he's going to have pretty quick engineering bases. We get a left finished. Overlord speed about to be done. And Dark's still making some roaches and a lot more OVs. I kind of feel like Dark might be about to like make a drop a Lord and just bring like Roach Ravager Queen across the map. He gets an overseer and he gets a drop a Lord. So yeah, he wants to just come across the map and basically kill Kira as a follow-up to that attack. He says, right, let's just go and kill you. Your defense is the Banshees, but if I bring the Queens, I have an answer to the Banshees. Then what else is in your defense? Well, not a lot, because the Hellbats took up a lot of the initial production, right? So it's probably going to be problematic as these couple Hellions morph into Hellbats. Queens, Roaches, and Ravagers continuing down to the bottom right now. And in we go. The Queens are going to get lifted into the Dropper Lord, and, well, we're going to break down these depots, and I just don't know what Kira has to defend this in the slightest. It feels like he's got nothing at the moment. Queens are going to start to unload. Roaches and Ravagers are going to start to kill some SCVs. A few biles up the ramp are going to hit some depots. I mean, that's actually a supply block Kira now as a tank pops up, but what the hell is that going to do? I mean, okay, it's going to siege up, and it's going to get Corrosive Bile down pretty quickly, and then your supply blocks for the next tank wasn't even started yet. Yeah, Dark is going to make short work of this, because he's going to kill all of those SCVs in the natural as well. They will all start to fall here eventually to those Lings. And even with a stim, I don't think Q is going to be able to have the firepower to really clean this out and to elongate this game much more, as the Banshee goes down to the Queens as well. And the Bio Army might be able to clean up, but Kira is down to 25 workers. Looks like this was hosted without GameHot for some reason, guys, so no worker killed on the side of the screen, but you're down to 25 SCVs as Kira. He's lost about 20 workers or so during this. That's pretty rough, and obviously now we're going to see Dark coming in for even another attack. There's no medevacs yet, at least not at the front healing, but the Ling's not able to do enough, so Dark giving up some units. I mean, he has a good worker lead, but his army supply isn't exactly kind of in a crazy position right now, right? So it might be nice just to kind of hold back at that a little bit. It's going to be seeing our couple of evolution chambers at the front. Dark setting up for his own upgrades. That's one thing that Cure will have in his favor. 1-1 is already done, so maybe he can take some fights with that, and with some medevacs, maybe get some harassment going that can start to draw him back in. But obviously it's a massive uphill battle, and it's going to require not just very good play from Cure, but probably some mistakes and sloppy defenses from Dark if he's really going to open up to taking so much damage that this will kind of reset it all, right? So that's why I feel like we're kind of at, is just going to be seeing the medevac coming to the front, the Marauders setting up as well. How can Dark all in and be on 4 bases with a 30 drone advantage? Well, because his all in worked. And he's not on 4 bases, his 4th hatchery isn't finished. And, he killed 25 workers, so there's your 30 drone advantage. I mean, yeah, I mean, if the all-in works, of course you're going to be super far ahead, right? Like, the all-in finished a minute and a half ago. And the thing is, as well, it's not even so much of an all-in as much as it's... the thing is, he knows how badly set up Cure is, because Dark had a lead anyway, because he defended the initial attack. So yeah, Dark just ahead in general, and that's why we're going to be continuing through to. It's just going to be seeing a few Marines dropping down, Extractors trying to get picked off. We're just going to be seeing a Spore again picked off as well. Roach Ravager continuing in. Medevac going to lift off and back away. Marines getting picked away at. Just going to be seeing the creep spread getting cleaned out a little bit. Here, just doing what he can at the moment. Just going to be seeing our medevac of Marines will come back into the corner of the base. Just going to be seeing our Roach Ravager going to go into the center. Just going to be again there to deflect, and that's the thing, right? Okay, Dark, behind on some upgrades still. he's going to be maxed soon, and that's when he's going to create a fight. And right now, the Bio Army can do well because it's kind of stabbing in here, stabbing in there, then backing away, etc. But soon, Doc is going to create the fight. And then you can't just run in, run out as the Bio player, because that means your third base is going to get killed instead. That's going to be pretty problematic. Going to be seeing an infestation period as well. So Doc thinking about the future and how he might continue to tech up. Love this. A little bit of roach harass in the main base. Just, again, be annoying. Forces a scan, if nothing else as well. So gets a few workers, forces a scan, forces units to respond, and just keeps his opponent on the back foot, especially. Again, just trying to keep Kyo busy, and yeah, maybe afraid of attacking in due to the upgrade deficit. That is the thing, right? You know, Roach Ravager really doesn't do too well against Bio that out-upgrades it, and to be fair, Kyo's army is not to be laughed at. You know, yes, Doc's army supply is large, but you got to consider it's very Roach-focused as well. So actually, Kyo doing okay here. He's not going to die in the immediate future. Now, the problem then for Kyo will be, at least for me, is that he's going to be not able to stop Doc doing what he wants either. So while Kyo is not going to die, Doc's under no real immediate threat, I feel like. And here comes a large army from Kyo, so we'll see how much danger Doc feels like he's in. I feel like he's still got adequate resources in the bank while being maxed out, and he's got his tech on the way as well. So it's not like he's having to forfeit something to be able to defend this. He's getting all of his tech on the way. So as long as he just survives this fight, he's then going to be on lurkers, and that's obviously a great improvement to this army. And that's obviously something we're expecting to be very good for Doc here in just a little bit. Bio wants to continue through, playing Ravager. Trying to get set up a little bit. Looking for the surround, that's why he's cleaned these rocks out so he can come in from the right as well. And this is going to make it tough for these tanks to do enough. No Carapace upgrade finished just yet for Doc, but he does have his +2 missiles at least, as he will start to fight this. Corrosive filing down as many of the tanks as he can get to. And Corrosive files that tank in the front. Wouldn't have minded maybe seeing the focus on the tanks in the back a little bit, because that one in the front was going to get hit soon anyway, but nonetheless, Doc is going to get a decent cleanup. Especially just resetting the tank count a lot is going to go a long way. And now he's got 25 roaches on the rebuild because, as mentioned before, he's obviously been setting up in a position where he's been able to get into a very good spot and can kind of go from there. So now you just get all of those roaches up and he rebuilds way faster because he's had all of this all of these resources ready to go for a long time. Here trying to bring this Bio Army forward and just jump on top of this base. Roaches, Ravagers still trying to come on through. Just going to be seeing a bit of back and forth continuing. A couple of files continuing down. Bio Army still dodging away. We are going to be seeing the Roach Ravager still wanting to just keep up and keep on being aggressive there. As a few more Biles going to force this back. And just going to be seeing the Bio Army again going to be pulling back just a little bit. Back in we go as a Ravager Bull takes a little bit of damage. And this army of Q is still just coming up through the center. Viper on the way. Look, Den is coming through as well. Just going to be seeing a few more battles give the Bio Army back now. Roaches and Ravagers taking some hits. Going to come around the left-hand side. Corrosive files going down. Multiple tanks being picked away at right now. Medivacs going to start getting hit by these files as well because there's just so many of them. It's raining corrosive files. Throw again some Vipers out too, which would help for these fights. And maybe even in cleaning up some of the Medivacs. I think Doc has obviously held this off. And still not on an amazing drone count. Only on around 70. It's not like he's been off and away with the drones. But yeah, it looks like this game is stabilizing out now to be a pretty comfortable one for Doc. I mean, here it does get up to a 4th base now. Gets that set while all of these fights have been happening. So that's something. Obviously, Doc has his 3/3 upgrades on the way. Remove the upgrade lead from his opponent as well is also only going to be of aid to him. So something else to think about as we just see. Do have Ravagers pushing the Marauders back over to the side. Files trying to hit the Medivacs. Not finding much. Again, more Vipers on the way. Plus, as well, remember that the Lurker den's up. Lurker upgrades are coming through. And in fact, there are our first 9 Lurkers. So, Lurkers coming through as well. That's going to shift the momentum of this game even further and just give Dark even more defensive potential and honestly just better army in general, right? So, he's also going to start up the Nidus network, knowing that that gives him some counter-attacking opportunities. And while Kyo did a good job to stay in this game, it was always going to be tough. Seen our Bioforce coming through, Ling Roach Queen coming back along. Bio Army is coming in to chase that army back. A little bit of action continuing, but it's going to be seeing Ravagers, Lurkers, and Vipers continuing through at the moment as we have got the Queens continuing to fight. This army of Dark still heading down the bottom side. It's going to see a couple of Marines and Marauders going to be in some trouble. I see the Lurkers forcing this orbital command to lift off, guys, and otherwise just going to be seeing still a few more Lurkers settle down. Lurkers still fighting more of this bio. There's a Liberator there, which is helping to do a lot of damage as well. Oh, this fight from Dark is pretty ugly, in fact, and he's losing a lot. Counterattack across the map, not sure how much it's doing. Looks like it's cleaned up. Lurkers will defend. Supplies equaled out there for a few moments. Now it's obviously back into Dark's favor as he picked off that medevac or so and just got a couple trailing units. But yeah, things kind of settled down there for a moment in favor of Kyo almost. And again, I feel like Dark is picking a couple of fights which are maybe, you know, fights that he actually needs to slow down on a little bit and be a little bit more cautious about. So something to think about here as corrosive bars go down and multiple tanks are being cleaned out as well. Another tank in the corner just about surviving. It's going to be seeing these Bioforces turned around by some of these Lurkers. And we're back around the other side with these Lurkers as well. They're going to burrow up and push the Bio Army back down the ramp as well. Just going to see our Ravagers clearing up another siege tank in the center, and we're just going to get a Lib up in the top right to get rid of a drone. Hydras will get rid of a Lib as well. And just seeing this, this setup. Dark once again kind of establishing a better position in the game. I mean, Ghost Academy now coming down as we obviously see Kyo realizing he's going to need Ghost to perhaps fight against what is an ever-increasing Lurker count. If he doesn't have Ghost, he's obviously just going to be in some serious trouble trying to make that work out. So he's adapting to the situation, sure, but is it maybe too late? Can Dark actually find a fight in with this army? It's possible. It's plausible. Fire army comes through, a couple Lurkers go down. The Lings are going to come in for a surround. The Vipers coming forward as well, and just going to be seeing the Ghosts still in production from Kyo. They're not out yet, so this is actually kind of worrying because obviously some of your units are still up in those medevacs. Lurkers are going to get in position to zone the bio on the right side. Would like to see a blinding cloud on the units on the right just to keep them off the Lurkers a bit more. The parasitic bombs are putting in work, and Kyo has to type out GG. And we are going to thank you as well. A couple other subs. Failsafe 001 for the 4-month resub on the Prime. And Sturmgott on the 18-month resub. Welcome back, guys. I really appreciate it. And I'll get you guys on the tree after this game as we are setting up right now. Dark bottom left and Kyo upper right here for this game number 2. Just going to see a hatchery first coming down, getting that set up. me just get this ready to roll. So getting this set up, getting this settled. See what's going to happen as our Reaper comes through. Just going to be setting this up and just going to see a couple queens fieldings on the way out. Just going to be seeing our command center Kira down on the other map. Just getting ourselves settled down here without any issues or anything for the moment. So just settling down. Nothing crazy just yet. Get this ready to roll. Just going to see the Reaper coming through and a couple of lings. Going to have that going back and forth. He's going to take a second gas again, so I wonder what he's maybe planning to do this time around, right? I mean, this is basically a statement of like, hey, look, I want to go into, you know, basically aggression once more. Last time he went Hellbats, this time we'll see what he wants to commit to as Reaper comes forward and trying to put on a little bit of pressure. Just going to see our factory swapping over to the reactor now. Overlord's speed is already on the way up as well, so getting that overlead up and running. This time I think Dark obviously not looking to use it aggressively as much as he's just looking to use it as a bit of scouting information, try and figure out what is going on in the early stages and, you know, getting set up to have a bit of a response to that and all the rest of it. So getting set up for that right now is a couple of queens still just hanging at the front for a moment. Going through, just going to see the couple of Hellions taking a little bit of damage, and they will take a step back now. Let's see our Marine tapping at the Overlord and pushing it away to the side. And that's just going to give us a few more moments of calm. Let's Dark again up again to this 1-0 lead at the moment. And won't be going Roaches against Cloak Banshees right now. So it is going to be Cloak Banshees again as Hellions have actually made it into the mineral line in the main base. It's just, that's not where we wanted to look, apparently. But I feel like the Observer's getting a little bit lost today, actually. I feel like they were doing pretty well. You know, I gave them some compliments earlier when they did make a little mistake. And now I'm kind of like, well, what are we looking at sometimes? I feel like they heard the Hellions attacking in the natural, couldn't find them in the main, then went to watch the Overlord across the map. And I was like, it just felt like everywhere we looked was not where we were meant to be looking. But, alas, on we go. As we do have link speed starting up then on the side of Darks. Getting that link speed underway. Claire is just going through. It's about halfway done. Queen is coming out as well. I'm just going to be seeing a couple of engineering bays going down around the back with the refineries also coming through. Just getting that settled down as our Banshee will escape around the side here. And just going to be, again, just moving that around at the moment. Just going to be seeing a couple of Roaches being picked away at right now, and just going to be seeing the Banshees coming through. So having a pretty good start of this, just moving through with those Banshees and getting some damage done on a Queen or so. Now we're going to see a bit of pushback now. Banshee's out of energy. A dog has actually just made Ling Roach Queen, and he's just going to go. So he's actually going to use that Overlord speed aggressively, just like last time. And he's just going to go for the same kind of thing. This time, of course, not off of the advantage of having defended the Hellbats, just kind of believes he can go, but look at that defense. I want to say that I don't think he bust through that, but I suppose we'll see in a moment whether that is true or not. Queen at the front, going to grab one Marine. Double bunker attack. I mean, I don't see what you do, but I guess we'll see if Dark is going to try and burst forwards. I mean, he's not started up drones just yet, so he's not decided to kind of continue forward with kind of a different route. He's still making units. So he actually believes there's no Warloft now, and maybe that's part of the plan, right? The CC lifted off, so now no Warloft. You can flood the Lings in more easily. He's also going to put some Lings into the main base with the Dropper Lord, so yeah, I don't hate the idea then. Okay, the Lings aren't here at all, so maybe not quite the plan. As the bunker takes some damage, Medevac's taking hits, a bit of back and forth, and these Lings unloading in the main base are going to start running toward a mineral line. And as the Ravagers continue here, these Marines taking some shots, and the bunkers will start to go down. Oh, the tank high ground saved by the repair, so that just about gets to stay alive for a little bit longer. And that will keep you kind of going in this for just a little while, as Kua is going to pretty much hold this off. This is going to be a defense for the moment. And good defense at that. Good job holding this off, defending, and getting set up for the next part of this as the feelings will get through and start to put a little bit more pressure on where they can. Just trying to push through in, a couple different places. As you do see our units still here from Dark, has creep spread out here as well, so really just wants to try and hold this position. Unable to break in, however, for the moment, and will still just be held off a little bit. So, yeah, Dark unable to really make much more happen, and Kira is getting into a better and better supply position. Dark has still not decided to drone, so he's still making roaches. The longer he sticks to this for, I think personally the worse this is for him, but I think this is just generally going to be enough right now. As we're going to be seeing the Overlords getting chased away. You see now our Bioforce is coming around, a little bit of creep spread being cleaned out as well. Yeah, just going to be having ourselves the couple of Evo Chambers and an Infestation Pit coming down. So Dog's got to play the upgrade kind of pullback as well, right? He's got to get back in the game upgrade-wise. Definitely, definitely not looking to be too great at the moment, in all honesty, right? I mean, I'm trying to think about where he maybe does get back into this, or how he gets back into this, if there's anything particular. And I think just Kira probably has to take some very bad fights into maybe like an Infestor or two even. I even think the Roach Ravager is going to be tough to take bad fights against, as right now you can see he's kind of overwhelming here, making use of just a few units. Overwhelming in this fight. That's definitely not the fight that Dark wants if he's going to start taking steps back into this game. That's the exact opposite of what he wants. So Dark remains in trouble. And as the Roach Ravager continues through, the back and forth continues. I'm just going to see those medevacs trying to keep these few Marauders alive as best they can. Stemming forward again, a lot more of these Roaches being picked away at still, and a lot of them continue to drop at the moment. The damage is good from here. It's even just a low amount of units, right? And he's still just here trading out and getting value. So kind of impressive that he's just keeping it going and keeping it powered up. And yeah, just slowly getting set up back at home. He's got a fourth base now establishing as well. His 2-2 upgrades are on the way. Zakir has a lot of those kind of advantages continuing back into play. Definitely going to be helping out over time as a couple of these CCs. Oh, well, that CC in the factory coming up. A couple of important structures for the future for sure. Just on the way out right there. Bioforce still moving down and around. Well, obviously as Kyo takes a few moments, we will just have a little bit of calm before the storm again. A little bit of setup here as we get ready to continue through. Got Bioforce moving up, gonna get rid of another creep tumor. And just on the right left hand side, also taking a fight. little worried perhaps. Dark is getting a lot of his tech online, right? The Infestors are getting their, pasturing glands. We've got Vipers online as well. So, in theory, I would say we're getting to a point where there's a good amount of there's a reasonable amount of stuff available, right, for Dark, and tech that could definitely help him out, but alright, sorry, just getting a couple things sorted out. Apologies for that, guys, but getting set up and getting this ready to roll. As obviously we have ourselves a pretty exciting game 3. These two getting to go the distance now. And yeah, let's see what comes of going the distance, I suppose. So, obviously hardwire the map. We see this map be pretty good for a lot of the kind of the later game kind of lurker stuff. We see a lot of kind of late, just in general late games kind of come out of this, I would say. It's something I feel like we see a fair amount of the time, I suppose. It's going to be seeing ourselves a little bit of setup then as we get underway, and just wondering how things will go. If we're going to take a little bit of damage as the Queen comes through, and just going to be seeing our Hellions and now Cloak starting up. Like I say, a big map. Expecting to see a little bit of fun out of this. I think we can have a good time. Let's see as units try and dive by. No link speed yet, and he catches a Hellion anyway. Oh, that's bad for Q. I mean, you get into the base, but you lose everything and you don't kill a thing. That's not really ideal. That's not really how you want this to be going, so we just get off to a bit of a wonky start then, and I'm just going to be seeing the Cloak coming through, the Banshee setting up. Just, again, seeing how this is going to turn out. Rotron is on the way through as well. Link speed is coming up. Getting a lot of setup at the moment as we get this underway. Now, our Hellions are moving to the top side, so once again, wants to dive in. A third game in a row where Dark will play Roaches. Obviously, it's kind of funny because now he's kind of done, a couple, the same build a couple of times almost, right? So it's kind of interesting in that regard. That he's cranked out the same build a couple times over and stuff. It's not quite the norm, or not quite how things usually go. So yeah, kind of intrigued to see if he wants to do something similar again, because once again, there's at least going to be some Banshee play from Kua. Again, do you want to keep up that pressure, keep up that aggression, or how do we play this, Dark? I think this is time for him to mix it up a bit and to do something a bit different, though. I think it's definitely that kind of phase of the game. Well, the series, I suppose, really. I think he thinks so, too. A few more drones coming up, so he's going to be beyond that 50 worker count already. I'm just going to be seeing the Queens fighting with the Banshee a little bit as well. Again, just sticking with this Roach Star. I'm genuinely surprised because he has mixed in a lot of Ling Bane stuff as of late, but yeah, today he's just really feeling aggressive, and maybe just the way that it plays against Q. Maybe he feels like this is just the best style. Something that Q is not as good against, for example. Do push those Banshees away to the right-hand side, so pushing those out. And otherwise just waiting to see what the 1-1 brings us. Obviously, when that kicks in, I'm sure we'll have a bit more fun here as well for Kua. Infestation Pit and the Hydra Den both still coming through. And there's that Roach Speed also coming up right now. Also going to be of aid. Queen's going to push a little bit of creep spread out in front as well. So keeping that going as our Banshees get a couple of kills too. Banshees coming through with a little bit of action, and again, just trying to kind of keep things interesting, keep things going at the front. Dark has his hive on the way, and the infestors are building too, though. So seems like he's very much so, very well set in his plan. Seems to know where he wants to get to, what he wants to be up to. And so on he goes with it. He's got a bit of a force to the upper left. Let's see if he can poke in and find some damage here initially or something. In the next couple moments. To cancel on the hatchery, right? Always nice to get rid of that and to slow it down a little bit. That's definitely a step in the right direction. So yeah, that's definitely a positive. It's a start, at least, is otherwise just going to be seeing the hatchery again to rebuild. Obviously, yeah, you obviously need the 4th base. Without it, you're going to be in some trouble. As I look again, halfway done. That's going to be Dark's next step, as we've seen many a time now. You know how he likes to play this. Like I say, some similar stuff, a few games in a row here, pretty much. So, not really kind of changing the meta or anything like that. You have Pure. Well, be on his way to 2-2. We'll see if maybe a 2-2 timing is something which Pure is thinking about here. Definitely has potential to be, you know, one of the main ways that you try and play this out, right? Just go with 2-2, max out a bit. It's going to be tough because Dark's going to have all of the tech he wants at that stage. He's going to have the Vipers out, etc. So you'd imagine there's maybe a bit of a bigger plan for Pure, but we'll see exactly soon enough, I'm sure. Just for now, he just continues to try and drop around, continues to try and find some initial openings. See if you can find anything of particular interest so far. Kind of just hitting a brick wall, though, to be honest. Which is still moving around the sides and figuring out where they want to go next. Healing's showing up themselves, and we've seen our medevacs loading back up as well. Still just trying to find openings, still just trying to find some points of pressure, basically. Hero's been somewhat relentless with these drops, but Dark's defense has really been on point so far. And Road just show up, and the medevac's just going to be forced to lift away. From the chat, I wonder how effective it would be to have 1 or 2 workers near the enemy base and just repair the Banshees all the time, so for non-stop harassment. I think the issue is, if the Banshees keep coming in from the same position every single time, it's just going to be very predictable, and then the Queen's just going to pay a lot more attention to them, and then you don't get 2 to 3 workers every time, and it's obviously a couple of SCVs that you just never have mining as well, right? So probably not as good. As it initially, you know, as you would initially think, I guess. One of those things which would be like a cool idea. I think in theory it's a cool idea, but then I think in practice it's just a lot more effort versus what you actually get out of it, and then you start to see things that you don't currently see. Like, it would probably be very good like the first time someone does it, but when people realize it's a thing, because then you just send the 2 link, like when the Banshees move in, you just send 4 lings to go kill the 2 SCVs as well, right? So it's something that the meta would shift to adapt to, and hence why I just don't think it's necessarily super cool or anything. Because we'll come through there with the roaches and just knock down the rocks, in fact, so opening up the map a little bit. One of the things that I didn't like about Q when he played against Reno was he was extremely passive, and against this style, I guess I suppose I don't mind it as much. His extremely passive games didn't really lead to much success, hence why he's in this elimination match, so a little bit concerned maybe that the same's happening here, where and he has been trying to drop and stuff. Definitely seeing how Roach is just going to be taking a few shots there. Banshee overhead, dealing some damage, and you do get a couple ghosts turning around, picking off a Lurker. So Lurker gets taken down as Roaches will continue to take some extra shots here. Banshee putting in some hurt. On the right-hand side, there's harassment on dark side of the map. Looks like it's just lifted up and backed away, or being cleaned up, not sure. That's something to keep in mind that Akira is still trying to throw units across the map a little bit at dark as well, so just still trying to keep that mix underway. Trying to keep some aggression up, not completely letting this just slide out of control, I suppose. There's going to be seeing how Roaches and Lings out into the center. Hydra's coming through as well. Scanning out to see what will be happening. In the back corner, Marines going down. Just going to be seeing more Marines dropping off. And Kyo just going to try and move forward to a 5th base at the same time back at home. So just content to, again, keep on dropping. Resources lost is a little bit favorable to Kyo, but not massively so. And that's why I get concerned that maybe Dark can just overrun him, because he'll have access to so many more resources much sooner, because he's not trading badly. And as of right now, he's just trading so much better over time. Definitely feels like that's going to be a bit of a factor as we continue through here. Big fight breaking out. Hugo's going to try and get some snipes down. Nice fungal. Going to refungal the ghost as well. Really good fungals with the infestors. Placed exactly where you need them. I mean, Dark can rebuild off of this. Now Kyo's got no money, and that's what I'm talking about in terms of I'm a bit worried for Kyo, because surely this next round of attack from Dark is going to be very tough to deal with. Guess we'll see soon what's about to happen then. Lucky gets picked off, and just gonna have another few moments of setting up as Dark. Even has a Nidus coming at the front. And like I said, I'm pretty sure he's just gonna go again, right? Why not go again? Got your opponent on pretty much no money. Let's see if he can bust him. He's going to burrow up. That's a dead planetary at the very least. And a couple of these tanks will be in some trouble as well. So planetary goes down. The other command center at least lifts up, and that can act as a replacement. This one wasn't as deadly, right? Dog doesn't kill as much, and it still costs him a fair few units. Once again, just instantly rebuild and continuing this set of consistent trades that you expect to see in ZvT. Inefficient trades for the Zerg, who's just mining way more, has way better control of the map. He's looking to keep the Terran pinned back and just hoping in the end the Terran will buckle and break. And we've seen our Abducts coming through. Just going to be seeing a few ghosts sniping away. Just going to be seeing Lurkers taking a lot of damage at the moment as well. Just going to be seeing a lot of these snipes continue to come on through as Lurker after Lurker continuing to go down. Just going to be seeing all of this getting cleaned out. Oh, one Lurker left over. Again, Q's supply is low though, and Dark is still just on another rebuild, already pretty much set up to go. New set of Lurkers are morphed in. And again, the question is, can this be the one that breaks him? Because if not, Dark's bank is getting lower as well while he's still mining more. There might have to be a bit more of a gap between this attack and the next one to build up a little bit more money. And the more of a gap there is, the more of a chance the Terran gets to mine as well, albeit only off 50 SCVs. It's not like that is exactly ideal either at the moment. Definitely problems in multiple ways right now. Lurkers do burrow, and again setting up onto this base on the left-hand side. Gonna see if we leave these Lurkers in position. This is annoying for Q. You've got to repair a planetary. I mean, that's a constant drain of resources. Tank shot down by the Lurkers. Q dipping below 150 supplies, so kind of lower than he's been for a while. So we continue onto this planetary fortress. Just non-stop. We've got Ling showing up. A couple snipes to get rid of some Lurkers. We fungal some ghosts. We fungal the other ghosts. There's no energy to follow up from that, though. One of the ghosts dies to the damage. The other survives. Now the Vipers are looking to come back through. Obviously moving around as a group, so EMPs would be fantastic on them. He actually splits them up a little bit, and I really like that. A little bit of distance, force more EMPs, and it means that these Vipers on the far right side did not get EMP'd, so the Viper split was really cool, really effective. Banes actually get up the ramp and connect on some ghosts. Pure loses another base. I think he really just does not have the mind to keep this going. Dark will have enough. Takes it 2-1 over Cure. A fun game 3. Goes in Dark's favor.